Okay. So it's going to, so if you go in and you type in this command, right, send me a comprehensive breakdown of the Discord. It don't matter if you're new or you're old to the system. Uh, you just want to make sure that it can access this database and this training that I did with it to pull in the components of the Discord. And like right here, it stopped right here. But then I asked it, well, what does pack hunt mean? Which we have in the Discord down here. When we have the pack hunt signals that individual people in the Discord come in here and they post, when they see opportunities, right? You see all these trade plans. You got people posting trade plans in here where stuff is popping out of demand zones. These are like this free money, right? And the reason why I call it free money is that you don't even have to jump in here and like Manny posted here. You seen Hustle post something, Anthony posting stuff. You don't have to jump in here with just this screenshot and say, well, how do I get in? All you need to know is that this happened on this whatever time frame they posted. You say, okay, well, UNH had an inverse arc, right? Or you go down to some of the newer stuff and you see that okay, this trade has an inverse arc coming out of a demand zone. You just need to know what the ticker is, right? AZN, and then you come here and you just you go to the wolf chart, take the screenshots, and then come in here and analyze. Let Black Wolf help you analyze the trade. What this is doing, all this happening here is that they're filtering through the market. Instead of you having to trade by yourself and do it by yourself, you have an army of people coming in, dropping, floating candles and all types of stuff inside these different breakouts, right? And so you can come in here and grab just the stock that they're posting, and then get a breakdown of it. So I'm going to go through one if I can just kind of show you how the ecosystem is I'm intending on it to work to make trading more simple, right? So if we have for example, let's take let's look at what happened today. So we had some stocks that broke above their supply zone. Somebody had to say something. I heard somebody unmute. So we have stocks that broke above their supply zones, right? Lilly did it on the 1 hour time frame. Nvidia did it on the 1 hour. And Lilly, look at this. They closed over a daily red order block. So that means if we come and look at our wolf chart, so we come in here and look at our wolf chart and look at Lilly, and we go to the daily time frame. So we're gonna go to the 1 day. And so we can see that it's struggling at the 200, but we have an inverse arc. We have a level 3 confirmation because we broke above this trend line. This is a candle that's above the 200 and the 12. The 12 is kind of very low under it, but you also have a bullish fair value gap here, and you have new money sitting here that came in on the 17th, right? So now we have this breakout trying to happen, but you're struggling at this 200, and it's looking like we're gonna have some resistance at this liquidity, this little map level right here. But we're not gonna get into that on this call. But I'm just want to show you a process. So we see we got a inverse arc here, and we're at the 200, and we also know that we just closed above a supply. I mean, a bearish order block because of this alert told us here that it closed above a bearish order block today. All right, so now all you need to do after that is take your screenshots because now you have your wolf chart. If you did your training, you understand what these components are. You see, you got the previous day high. You understand all this stuff, and then we have this breakout trying to happen on a daily that we conquered the supply zone on a daily. So what I want to do is do a top down analysis on Lilly to kind of see uh, get more information about it because just because we did all that, you still have a lot of other price action and things, right? Now, one thing you want to take note, I'm gonna take these off my chart for a second, and this will help even people that's advanced. You want your chart clean. And when I say clean, I'm not talking about the indicators over here, but when you're prepping your chart for Black Wolf or Shon-TheWolf AI, whatever you came under it as, um, to do a breakdown for you, you don't want to have indicators popping up over here cluttering up your price scale because it's gonna see what it sees. It's gonna look over here, and if you got 20 indicators on your chart, and you see over here all this is colored in with with price points. I should give you an example. So if I come here to go to the style tab and I hit labels on price scale, you see how if you pay attention over here, you see how you got that 834 covering up 840, and then you got 805 sitting on top of 820, and you got stuff covered up, right? Because it's not showing the actual price. When you drop your chart in, your screenshots in, your AI is going to be looking at, okay, you got 804, 834. So when it's looking across the chart, it's going to be giving you inaccurate data if you got so much stuff covering up your price scale over here. And it'll throw some of your accuracy off. So you want to clean up your chart first by going to the style tab of the indicators, uncheck that box, and then you don't want all you want is just the price action over here, just empty. So what you want to do if on your whatever indicator you have, you go into the settings, go to the style tab, uncheck labels on price scale. Do the same thing here, and I'm gonna uncheck. It's already unchecked for mine, but labels on price scale, right? And whatever other ones you have, I already done it on mine, but whatever other prices are showing up over there, you want this clean over here, okay? You also want while you're doing your screenshots, if you're not doing it from a phone, if you're doing it from a phone, you can keep your ATR tracker tiny. But if you're doing it from a computer, you want your ATR tracker to be at least at the small, so that it can read. And it's basically looking for the volatility status. It's trying to see if the ATR is expanding, and that allows it to know whether or not smart money is actually pushing in volume and things like that. All right, so now that I have my chart prepped and my scale over here clean enough so they can actually see my prices the correct way, I'm just gonna go take a picture of the higher time frames first. So I'm gonna go to Lily. I'm gonna grab the 1 month. Then I'm gonna drop down. I do the 2 week before. If you don't have the 2 week on your price scale, you can go up here and hit the add custom interval, and then you change it to weeks right here, and you can add a 2 week. You just put two right there and hit add. Like if I want to add a 3 week, I can hit add, and now I have the 1 week, 2 week, and 3 week, and the 1 month on here, right? But I normally do the 2 week, make sure that it can see things clearly, right? I had this 825 level on here because I know once Lily breaks above that, it can come up and hit 876, and then go further, right? So we had this 2 week screenshot. I'm gonna take a screenshot of it. Let me see. I normally have the VRVP on. All right, and then I'm gonna go to the 1 week. Now, when you're dealing with, if you do use the VRVP, this is just this volume on the side. You always want to align it up with a demand zone or a sell off zone. And so here, I have it at this candle right here, um, lined up so I can have a proper volume profile, right? So it's showing me some good information on Lily, right? We see that under this level, under 773, there's no volume over under here in this range. So that'd be a good opportunity for puts as if it ever breaks this level, it can drop pretty decent. And then you see here we have an inverse arc, but we have empty volume to push up to 875, right? And so we tracking these levels. So if I was doing a liquidity map, I would kind of map all that out. But say you can see we can come up and hit these levels. I'm tracking this specific weekly resistance we're going to run into that we actually grabbed liquidity already once before, pushed up, and then they grabbed liquidity above that line because this is a liquidity level. So it's going to act as liquidity. So it pushed up above it and then it's pushed down. So we got the let's take a picture of the 1 week. And see, I'm capturing my ATR tracker down here, and I'm actually capturing all the price action. And then you can just drop down to the 1 day. You don't have to have all those other days. I use a 3 day, but if you don't have that, that's fine. And so here, you see how we have a demand zone here, but I'm gonna pull it back to capture at least this sell off zone here to see what my volume profile look like. And it still kind of lead me back up to this 825 resistance that it has to break over, which I've been having this level on here for at least a month now. But you see how that level is going to be important. Once we break it, it'll be able to run up. So let's grab this 1 day chart now. So that's our top down, right? So now all I gotta do is come on here. Oh, give me a second. So now all I'm gonna have to do is come over to Black Wolf and say, okay, this is the alert you got, right? So we got a you can just say I got a let me copy the text though on this one. So let's go here. Copy. Nope. So let me upload these. Now, one good practice you can do on this is you can label your charts, but he still can pick them up without you labeling them. I normally will label them uh, to make sure that he understands it's the 1 month, the 2 week, 1 week, and 1 day. But let's just upload them, and it can pick up on them. All right, so we're going through the process now, right? Which you just having access to the wolf chart, right? Not even if you're, just learning, with you now having access to the wolf chart, you can see that it's looking at the monthly chart, it's looking at the weekly chart, giving you what it sees and things like that. Retest entry at 805 to 790 zone, demand retest. So it's looking for it to pull back down between this range, right? Telling you use the 1 hour to 4 hour time frames. Look for an inverse arc. Basically waiting for it. So basically what it's saying is, okay, if you can pull back down between these levels, right, within this zone, right. So now I can come on here and I can map out. Okay, it's saying between 805 and 790, right. Within this zone, if you can get on a 2 hour time frame, it's wanting to let it come down. And you can see here we got the WTMA kind of surpassing Lily's current price action. You got a cloud breakout on a 2 hour mixed with a floating candle. You're at a resistance right now on the 2 hour. So it's saying he wants to see it pull back, come down to around 190 ish in this range, create a brand new inverse arc, and then shoot for a test of like 826 in that range is like your first target, right? So it's giving you these zones right here. Now, this right here is good because you have a big picture. Because when you're looking at the 1 month, 2 week, 1 week, and a 1 day, it's giving you a big picture. So you say, okay, can I send you the lower time frames to analyze? Right. So now, okay, give me the 4 hour, the 2 hour, or the 1 hour, 15 or the five. And then it's gonna double check, you know what I'm saying, to make sure it can see everything, right? So now I can come down to the 4 hour and repeat the same thing that we just did, right? But since I've already explained kind of what we're doing, and we can see how this is a different type of we're running into a different type of lily breakout in the sense that we've popped up from these levels, dropped, popped up and dropped. But what you want to see when a breakout is going to try to sustain itself is you want to see that 200 cloud coming down to that bearish suppressed price action. You don't want when you see these big gaps like that, it'll come up and test that 200 and drop. But when you see the 12 and all your shorter time frame moving at with your shorter length moving averages starting to converge on this 200 cloud, and when they try to get back above it, a sustainable uptrend or a bigger move up, you need that that 12 and that WTMA to be back above and comfortable above the 200, right? Not just the candles. Like candles just popping up aggressively above the 200 is not good enough for a sustainable trend. It's good enough for a trade, but when you're trying to have a sustainable breakout, you want your faster moving averages to be above the slower ones, right? So now let's take a screenshot of the 4 hour time frame, and then we're gonna drop out. We're gonna do the 4 hour, the 2 hour, which is giving us some good information because this is not a you know simple trade, even though we've tested these levels before. You got resistance like directly above you, right? So let's come back here. That's the 2 hour, 1 hour. Now the reason why all this what we're doing is groundbreaking, especially for like just retail traders, is because trying to wait until you learn enough to do this type of accurate top down analysis, what I'm saying, by yourself, it takes a while. It takes some years. And so what I'm trying to do is take some years off of the learning curve, right? Because you don't have to draw this stuff out for yourself. And then now we just can read the chart, have an assistant that we have access to 24/7 to help us analyze what the chart is giving us, right? So I'm gonna do the 30-minute and the 15, and then we'll stop there. But we just wanted to see enough. If you've never seen these flags on my chart, these are just candlestick pattern detect. It's a detector for candlestick patterns, right? All right, and I might just stop at the 30-minute and let it, so we can find an execution time frame. But we can see how we had this strong push up, and we already kind of looking for that inverse arc, and I can see now where I was seeing, saying that 26 level being hit possibly, right? So I'm gonna go to the beginning of this man zone here. Let's go. And so this is gonna be the last one we grab. So now we have the 4 hour, the 2 hour, 1 hour, 30-minute. And so now it's ready for it. It's waiting on us. So let me come here and let me see what time we start at. 28. All right. So all right. So we uploaded that now. So I didn't have to go back and tell it about, to use common sense and consider everything. But it's all right. This is what we see. I already know what I'm looking at on a 1 month, 2 week, and a weekly, and a daily, right? So now it's pulling in the 4 hour, 2 hour, 1 hour, and a 30-minute. So now it's checking, looking, and verifying, summarizing everything up, looking at the zones, And then so now you have it saying, okay, we're looking for a entry zone reclaim play. So what does that mean? It means even if you blow past this, even if you come down and you come to 790, 793, if you come down here and then you reclaim that, like if price comes down to this level, drops under it at all, whatever. But if it pops up in volume, if buyers step in and push it back up, in a sense trying to grab liquidity, then it's looking at these targets still. It's looking at the first battleground being at 825, which is a level I've been with. How long I've been looking at this level for like a month or so now, right? So I know that this level is incredibly. It's important for me doing a manual top down analysis on Lily. So above this level, then it can start trying to cook up, right? And validation is if we break it down here. Now I'm showing you all this because it takes this takes excuses or I don't know enough yet. It take all that out and throw it in the garbage, right? Because if you can take screenshots, if you own a wolf chart and you can take screenshots and learn this process while you're trying to understand what this stuff means, you can be also seeing, okay, let me if this thing can come down and retest. So even you say, okay, I like what it pushed out, but I don't really even what does this mean? Then what I'm saying is when I say no excuses, it's not an attack on anybody's um, work ethic or anything. What I'm saying is you have something in your hands that you can move it slow or you can break it down as simple as you want. You can say, okay, break this down to me in simple terms. So, and I'm just gonna put with the breakdown in, right? So now, even if I'm still in the process of learning, it's gonna say, okay, let me dial back and let me break down the actual trade plan so you can kind of get it. Like I'm not trying to talk over your head. I'm not trying to push you into something and just you don't understand exactly what I'm saying, you can break it down. And even if the breakdown doesn't make sense, you can say, yep, still struggling on these particular terms right here. Break this down even more simple so I can know exactly. So when I see this happen, what do I do? And guess what? When this happens live and say it comes down to 790 ish, and you see like, oh, hold up, it's pushing past it a little bit. I'm confused. I'm not sure what I need to do. You can take another screenshot of the 5 minute, the 15 minute, the 1 hour and say, hey, price is down at 790. Just like the trade plan that we was talking about, it's down in that area. Here's what the chart is looking at like right now. What do you think? And it's just gonna keep walking you through the whole entire process. And then I promise you, by the time you work with this thing for 30 days, you're gonna understand what it means to look at a trade as it develops, how you enter, when to hold back. It's just gonna keep teaching you and teach you and teaching you because this is not like just using regular chat GPT because the brain of this AI is basically my brain infused into this AI and everything that I know about smart money concept, liquidity, and even beyond that, right? So it knows about the wolf trend moving there. It knows about everything on your chart, everything that you're trying to learn. It knows it. It's an expert at it. So you have access to the expert 24/7, right? So this is why we have this ecosystem, and you can do this on whatever alert you choose. It could be, a swing trade alert. We had a bunch of stuff come in here and have arc confirmation. So this same confirmation that happened down here that triggered this move up, I'm just going to so we can understand this is an inverse arc. So you get an alert, okay, Lily has an inverse arc on a 30-minute time frame, right? And then you get your price action. This is a bearish arc. You get a so when you get the bearish arc, it sends an alert and the price is dropping, right? So even if you get the alert and you say, "Oh, I got the alert, but what now?" What now is just start leveraging the ecosystem. Okay, I got access to all these alerts with Hood, Lily, right? You see how Lily popped up in here? So Lily popped up in two different spots, right? You got inverse arc on the daily, which means smart money has now moved into their position, right? The candle locked in on it. And so now we have a confirmed daily inverse arc. And then we also see that it also popped up over here saying that it just closed above where the bears were currently holding it down from. So now it has that, right? So now you got Lily popping up not only in supply zone conquer, but also inside of these inverse arc levels. And you got a lot of other things like now and coin, right? And then you leverage the AI for that.
I would have 10 rooms, 10 wives. You could do it for yours in between time, but I was telling one of my friends.
Hold on.
One of my friends does waxing. Everybody gets 5, 6. Oh.
Shon, we can't hear you.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
And so you're looking for how long have y'all not been able to hear me?
A good minute after you said hold on.
Oh, okay, I got you. All right, so what I'm saying is the wolf chart itself to me, and it should for you, with this ecosystem, don't get overwhelmed by what you see on the chart. Think about the simplicity that this makes trading for the average person. And you're going through a learning process of learning a complex uh, a complex thing when it comes to smart money, understanding how they move and detecting them and tracking them. But as long as you have the chart and you can take screenshots and drop the chart in and you got access to the AI 24/7, eventually, you know what I'm saying, you're going to just start thinking. You're going to start thinking and seeing exactly what the chart is showing you, what the AI is seeing. It's going to, by default, without you even trying to learn it, you're going to start seeing what breakouts look like. You're going to start seeing chart behavior. And then when you get finished with a trade, win, lose, or draw, right? You just journal it. So you come back in and say, hey, I jumped into Lily. I waited for it to come down to that zone. I waited for it the price to turn around and buyers to show up and reclaim at that level. And then I jumped in and then it came down and stopped me out. Put that in there because when you get stopped out, guess what happens to to your version or our version of Black Wolf? It just gets smarter and smarter and smarter and smarter until it knows even traps and stuff like that. I put so many trading journals inside of the AI that's why it can look at Lily the same way I look at it and say, oh, okay, I see what they're doing. They're trying to push price up, but they're gonna have to push it down, uh, stop out people that jumped in too early, cause them to sell. Then they're gonna jump in and push it back up. The same way that I played um ARM, right? So we saw ARM. I saw the pullback happening on what is that, Nvidia. And so when I did the trade plan for ARM and for Amazon the same way, right? We had a trade plan for them, but it entails like, okay, I see we pulling back, but what am I always looking for? I'm not just waiting for stuff to go down to a zone. I'm just hitting buy. Let it come down to the level. Let the volume push in, just like here. Let it come down to this level. But if you get a bullish high volume candle or inverse arc at this level, then it's time to roll and put the money up. But if it comes down to these levels and it just keeps pushing down, my condition is I want to see the billionaires buy it first. So why am I'm waiting on the inverse arc because an inverse arc tells us what when they start moving money and buying. So I'm a retail investor. I'm not going to come in. My money can't reverse arm. So if it's dropping, I'm not interested in getting into it until I see them get into it because since we can see them get into it earlier than anybody else, once we see them get in it, then we can get in. Just like arm, it came right down to this zone, and then it did an inverse arc, and then it was time to play it, right? And then after that, what did it do? It just kept going up, and now it's at like 160 or whatever, right? So same thing with Amazon. We did the same thing. We waited on smart money to come in at a level. It came down to this zone, right? Money came in, and then what is hit these three targets already. But you got to think about it. Amazon was up pretty high, and we were able to see the proper entry zones for Amazon to go long. Let it pull back. Let it sweep. What I'm saying, the weak hand. Let them people that bought in too early. Let it come down and stop them out because they need them to sell. So in order for them to buy in, and since I understand how smart money buys, I'm always looking for that big red candle that's gonna knock everybody out, and then we jump in. Look at arm candle. It pushed all the way down, came to look at the zone we already had on the chart, 152 to 154. It pushed past all the other ones, and then it came in. So I got in on the 5 minute time frame when we was on this zone. We got an inverse arc, and even if you waited on the 1 hour time frame to get in at this range, you still got an inverse arc and push up. Okay. Now before I go on to like the fundamentals of the chart for the last little part of the call, 'cause we're going to end the call at 7:15. Is there any people that recently got the wolf chart that have questions about like stuff that's on the chart or the training, beginner questions that you have that you're confused about? I know I'm talking about the ecosystem right now. I just want you all to understand how you can leverage the AI with the chart and the alerts to come up with pro grade, like this professional grade trade plans that consider the entire behavior scheme of how billionaires buy and sell and when we need to get in with them. You can do all that with your current knowledge, right? So I just want you all to understand that you can do that with any alert inside this Discord. All you have to do is get the alert and then go start looking at, what you need to what to buy. I mean, just do your top down analysis, the 1 month, 1 week, 1 day, and then your hourlies to the minutes, and then you can have a really a professional grade game plan to follow. And then during the live trading, when it comes, all you gotta do is put an alert on your chart for 790 or 795 for the example we did. Put an alert on your chart. Once it hits that range, you still don't have to get into the trade by yourself. You can talk to people in the actual Discord that have the same chart as you, or you can go right back to the AI and say, okay, the price is now in this range. Let me send you the 1 hour, the 4 hour, the 15 minute, and the 5 minute. Help me. Or you don't even gotta know that. You can just say, okay, price is in the range now, and I'm looking to try to enter. What time frames do you need for me so that I can get a precision entry on the stock? And then it's gonna say, well, send me the 1 hour, 30 minute, 15 minute, and it's gonna walk you through it. And then it's gonna start locking in your brain. Okay, so it needed the 1 hour. So I need to start paying attention to 1 hour, 15 minute, and stuff like that when it's time for me to enter into my trades and stuff. So does anybody have any questions about that before we move to the chart? Okay. And also, this is going to be recorded. I mean, this is being recorded, so I'll also drop this into the Wolf Academy. So when I drop the recording in here, it's going to be inside of here, this tab right here, Wolf Chart Masterclass. So I will delete these little meeting reminders, and I'll put the actual recording inside of here, so you all can have access to. And somebody else asked me to start doing like YouTube video, like convert these into YouTube videos. So some of the stuff I will start, but they'll remain private videos, but I'll get the Discord people access to it. All right, so if there's no question, we'll jump into the chart. Um,
I got a question. How come you don't do live trading? You know how there are some trainers,
yeah,
Discords, they come in certain days out the week and do live trading.
yeah. So I used to do live trading. I can't do it now because of my work schedule doesn't. My work schedule doesn't allow me to do trading during the market hours.
Oh, okay.
Mhm. But hopefully, I'll be able to get back into doing live trading. And also, and I know that some people like the live led trading kind of be all on the call at one time, jumping in the same things and stuff like that. And all that's fine. And we will do some of that on some days, but also learning the process, nailing down this process too will help. Um, Even if you want to become a live trader yourself, learning this process will help you to even lead other little groups. If some of you all aspire to or have the time schedule to have the schedule to do live training, once you get this kind of locked down, because uh, having a stop loss set and having your take profit targets, that's how you trade. You know what I'm saying? So always have that risk management part nailed down. But eventually, hopefully this year, toward the end, I don't know when, but hopefully this year we'll be able to kind of lock in on some hours in the day, probably like from like 9 to 12 or something like that, to do some live trading. But currently right now my schedule doesn't allow that. All right. So let's get to do some fundamental stuff. And when you're using your wolf chart, if you're new, uh, let me ask this first, if I can know what to talk. I don't want to just talk about fundamentals if people kind of done the training already and understand things. Who is it? Any fundamental questions that somebody's confused about with the chart that's new on the call, or even if you old, is there some things on here that still confuse you about the chart? Okay. Now, also, if there are some things that confuse you about the chart, um, you can always dive super deep, with Black. I see that we don't have as many questions we used to because a lot of y'all are asking and using the AI. But don't think that only the stuff, obviously, it's pretty much fluid in the sense that if you don't understand what liquidity is, when people talk about sell side and buy side liquidity, I've already trained the AI on this in detail, like really, really deep detail. Some of the stuff, like some of the training that I've done for it, like for example, for the WTMA has over 40 chapters that I wrote about everything it does, how it tracks liquidity, the coding, so when you're talking to Black Wolf about stuff on a wolf chart, like it knows it like very deep. You know what I'm saying? Deeper than any document on a Discord. It knows it extremely, extremely deep. You know what I'm saying? Exactly what makes it move and things like that. And then so with AI, if you make so you always want your AI to be unbiased. So you can tell it go into unbiased mode, and because you don't want a yes man helping you get better. So I keep my AI in unbiased mode. Like don't keep be 100% transparent, unbiased. Uh, if something's wrong with the system, if something is this, uh, everything. Like I don't care if I'm using it for, like, you can see over here when we be talking about scriptures and stuff like that. Like just be unbiased. Like I don't want you to agree with me because you know something about me. Like I just want 100% the truth at all time with whatever I'm doing. Right. So you can come in here and you can create your own training. Some people use it and leverage it to do, saying certain trainings for them and certain documents. But if you want to learn liquidity, you can just say, hey, build me build me a liquidity master class. And because it knows everything about your chart and they know you a wolf, it's not just going to build you a generic liquidity class. It knows that you have a liquidity engine on your wolf chart, which is the WTMA, right? So it knows that the WTMA tracks live liquidity. So it'll build out, and you can go to these different topics that it builds out, and you can just drill down into each one in detail, and it can expand this training out as far as you want. You know what I'm saying? Like sell side liquidity helps you to understand what these equal highs and equal lows are on your chart. It helps you to understand that the previous day high and the previous day low are liquidity levels. So that's why when you see a stock trying to push above a previous week high or a previous day high, you'll sometimes see it push above it temporarily, create a long wick, and then push back down. And so it'll teach you about like like an equal low right here, for example. When you have an equal low, that's a liquidity graph. So when you get an inverse arc under it tends to lead to bigger moves. Like right here, how we have an equal low, and then we have a inverse arc following it, right? It tends to these bigger pushes up. So you can deep dive inside any of these little things like a change of character and stuff like that on your chart. You can deep dive that stuff and and learn as much as you want to using that. Okay. So now we've covered the ecosystem and we've covered, the power of like the AI, it's unlimited on what you can create and learn from it, right? The only limit really is it doesn't give you option contract strikes. But other than that, it's just going to give you the stop loss, the actual stock take profits and things like that. So make sure you leverage that. Now, another thing I want you to touch on is when you're trading with your chart, and you're using you're manually trading with it, right? Make sure you take a look at inside of these cheat sheets. If I still got them up here, let's see. This right here is another thing that you want to try to go ahead and if you have a system already on certain time frames you like to use, this PDF is available inside of the Discord under the Wolf Academy and cheat sheets. And so here, just make sure you all get used to looking, at these sheets for you can understand kind of like when you get a confirmation, right? These are the time frames you want to look for your entry. Like if you get a 30-minute inverse arc or a 30-minute floating candle, you can drop down to the 5 or 3 minute to look for the trend to align with that breakout, right? So you can use this sheet so that you won't. So when some people get confused about even high level traders, okay, I got a confirmation. Like, how do I enter the trade? When do I enter the trade to eliminate, saying the pullback being too deep? So you can always drop down to these lower time frames and get you a precision entry. If you use the 1 hour, you can drop down to the 15 or 5 and 30 minutes, the 5 or the 3 minute to kind of get you a better entry to time it without the stock pulling back too much. So that sheet is inside of the Wolf. If you go inside of the Wolf Academy and come down to cheat sheets, that's where you can find that at. Now, when we're talking, so these smaller channels are in the new default onboarding process. I took out a lot of these channels here just so that people don't kind of get overwhelmed with alerts. I also took out top movers, which people probably want to add back, but top movers adds a lot of alerts to your feed. So for new people, even though this is like probably one of the best powerful like day trading ones you want to look at, I took it out just because I don't want them to get overwhelmed with alerts. So if you want to add that back, you can always go to browse channels and add that one back in there. But I took that one out. So basically, I'm wanting them to focus on, if you're new, focus on day trades with the 1 hour and 30 minute, and then focus on like you have these 1 hour arcs, 30-minute arcs, and then your 1 hour bearish arcs, and you have those on there as well. So you can have access to the 1 hour and 30-minute time frames, which will allow you to drop down to the 5 and 3 minutes to get your entries after you get the signals. So we look at some of those today. You getting them all the way throughout the day. So even if you work a job and you're not able to trade as much, or you can pop in at certain times, you can kind of see which ones are getting, arc confirmations and breakout confirmations on a 1 hour, on a 30-minute time frame. They're dropping in every 30 minutes. You'll see, new stuff getting confirmations, and then you can drop down to the lower time frames and see which ones are actually have a decent trading space to trade. But it's filtering through the market all day long for different stock signals and stuff like that for you guys to take advantage of. So just like we did on Lily, you can come in and say, okay, Palantir has a let's go earlier in the day. You can say like App, for example. App has a inverse arc, or one of these right here have a inverse arc or a bullish breakout, right? You can go to the chart and then you can drop the 30-minute, the 5-minute, the 3-minute, and then maybe drop like some higher time frames, screenshots, and then see if you see an opportunity to trade, when to enter, and stuff like that. And you can get a technical breakdown without you being a super technical person. You can just get the alert and then go put some work in by putting a few screenshots inside of the AI, and it can help you come up with some decent entries with a stop loss. And that's all you really need when you're trading. You need a decent entry plan, you need a stop loss, and some take profit targets. And all that is like right here in your lap. You just take the screenshots. It's going to give you a stop loss. It's going to give you some take profits. And so now you have a risk management plan where you can jump in and get you, a contract, whatever it say your first target, the most realistic first target. Just make sure your strike price is under that first take profit target or equal to it, and then you go ahead and try to do the trade plan and see what results you get from it. And then once you get smarter and smarter and learn and doing your training, then you will be able to kind of weave through and try to find more A+ trades. Okay. Let's see. So if there's no basic questions about the chart, uh, I ask again, I'll take 5 minutes to take some questions. And then I'm going to show you guys about some of these other indicators I have on my chart that some of you all may or may not have used before. And I'll show you why I have them on my chart. And but I'll open up for 5 minutes for some questions if y'all have some.
I do have a question, Sean.
Go ahead.
Those trend lines,
Mm-hmm.
what's the difference between the solid ones and the dotted ones?
The dotted ones are just showing you that the trend line, that's the most current active trend line. These are just historical trend lines. So these have like the price has passed by them and it's made another like swing high or swing low. So you see how these right here have this dotted line on them.
Hmm.
That's just because no new trend line has been made yet.
Oh, okay.
So once a new one is made, then they'll turn solid just like this, like these other ones.
Okay. Do they move up like during each candle, like it's a candle pushing it in any direction? Because on my chart, it's like I see those lines like actually moving.
And what time frame are you on? When you see them
Mostly the
moving?
5 minute.
On the 5 minute, they be
On the
moving.
5 minute. Mm-hmm.
Which they may be trying to adjust to make sure it's tapping in on a correct swing high based off the price action, but it is gonna try to lock in at the correct swing high if a new one hadn't been made yet.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. What in the world just happened?
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions for anybody? Okay, so let me cover just the why I have this VRVP on here. So in the indicators, you just type in VRVP. This is the indicator here, the visible range volume profile. Now, when I add this to my chart, the reason why it looks like that, thin like that. So if I take it off there, when I add it, it's gonna come in with that purple and blue color like this right here. What I normally do is I come into it and then I change my my row size to 200 and then my volume area to 100 to get a more fine grain, volume. If I can see like sometimes when you have those big giant rectangle blocks, it's not really capturing the actual price. You know what I'm saying? To like a precision price. You know what I'm saying? Like really like capturing to the penny and to the cents when they actually came in, where the actual resistance and support is. So I make it finer so I can see a more precise volume profile. So that's why I changed the rows like that. And then because I'm only interested since I'm trading, I don't really care if it's bulls or bears that dominated the volume on this horizontal volume. All I care about is where are they not fighting at? Like where is it like easy to make money? And so when I do my colors over here, my color scheme, I don't really care about, the volume color, which is bearish, which is bullish. I just care about where is there no volume and where is there high volume. And so, and I know that when I can pinpoint where there's no volume, I know that I can accurately see where my best trades will set up at. Like right here, you see how we had this candle that came down, right? We got some confluence with our volume profile inside of the demand zone. So you got smart money coming in, you got historical support, and you got volume, bullish or bearish mixed together. But this is where they fought at last. But then you see this empty space right here. When you see empty nodes, that means there's no volume support or resistance here to stop the price from kind of pushing up easy, right? Just like here, when it broke down past this volume, it was easier to drop down. Same thing when you're pushing up. So when you're trading, just like you see the gaps between your historical support and resistance, when you see those gaps, they kind of line up with the volume profile, you get easier breakouts when you see that you're not fighting against a lot of volume. Versus when you run across a stock that has a bunch of volume in one spot, it can help you avoid just wasting your money trying to break above a level, or wait until you get above the level before you take the trade. So like Apple, for example, it has decent volume sitting in this range. If it breaks 212, you see that it can easily drop back down to these levels. If it gets above, it really need to get above 216, but even above 214.50, um, if it breaks above some of these volume levels, it can push up higher.
Sean, how do you make sure it's lined up with the demand zones?
So the candle that start the demand zone is the candle you need to line up with. So and so you got to think about it like this right here. If your chart, you see that date at the bottom of my screen down there? Can you see it down here at the
Yeah.
bottom, the date?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this volume profile is looking at everything from July 2nd on forward, right? So if I say this candle right here started this demand zone, if I want to see the volume profile after new money just stepped in, I can drag my chart back and I want to start it here at this swing order block, and then it's going to show me what the volume profile looked like from July 17th. So that's giving me like what, a week of time or so or less, right? So it's giving me the volume profile for that many days, right? From the 30-minute time frame. But you always want to line it up with a on a wolf chart with an order block. And because you want to be lined up with the volume from when smart money came and entered the market, because you're trying to enter in based off of how they time their entry. So on a daily time frame, it's the same thing. You see how we had this volume profile. So I either want to line it up with the sell-off candle or when they just stepped in recently in April, right? So if I pull it back to this April uh, order block, you see how it's showing me with Lily the volume profile based off of this order block here in this entry. But that's still enough time. But that's all the way back to April. You see? Do you understand that?
So basically, you just moving it to the date, to the beginning of that order
To
block.
the first candle of the order block.
Did
That's
you
correct.
click you when you click it automatically aligns?
You drag it. You see how I'm picking up my screen and dragging it back and forth?
Yeah.
So I just drag it back to where this candle is the very first candle on the screen.
Oh, okay, I get it.
You see that? So
I
I'm just
see it.
I'm dragging my screen back to where that candle is the first candle
Okay.
on my screen. So that makes my volume profile adjust to this candle when they actually came in.
Okay.
If I wanted to see it from that very first sell off back here, I put this candle at the very
Oh,
front part of
okay.
my screen.
Okay. Now I get it.
You see
Thank
that?
you. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can see if you look at the price action of Lily, let's just put a line. I'm gonna put a horizontal line. What time is it? Okay, we got a few minutes. I'm gonna put a horizontal line at the top with this last node right here. This this volume right here. So we'll put it right here. And you see, if we cut the chart at where the volume is kind of sticky at, you see how once it gets above the volume profile, you know what I'm saying, it can push up a little bit. It's pushing up. So we looking for, and it still almost aligns with that 825 level, even if we go all the way back to this the beginning of that order block. Once it starts holding above this level, it's just it's an easier trade. Like trade it. The reason why when I first put that in there, like you see how like I didn't even do all this with the volume profile. I was looking at the higher time frame, top down analysis, but I said, okay, if we break below 750, we at least can drop back down, $20-$30 to this range. But really, if you lose that level, you can drop a lot. But you see how much volume is congested up here, whether it's sell volume or buy volume. When Lily is in this range right here, it's a lot of choppy, like it's just stuck because this is the biggest battleground right here, right? So we see this battleground area on Lily, right, where they kind of like to fight and not so you kind of in this mid range where you kind of in the range, just kind of trading right here. And so it's not like it's pushing up and down a good amount of money, but it's not like if you know how Lily like to run, it's not like a really Eli Lilly type of run that it can do. And so when Eli Lilly run, it'll move $50, $100. It just takes off, right? So when it breaks above this range, you know what I'm saying, you can see kind of like the bulls are more in control. And then under this range, the bears are more in control. In this range, it's just a back and forth, fight right here. So we want to trade them when it's easy money, right? You can scalp them in this range and make some money, but I'm saying like you a swing trader, you trying to get a big move without, a little bit less risk. You know what I'm saying? You want them when there's easy money. You want them to jump up here past all this crap and be able to push up and hit some targets and make it easier money. Now they do have a fair value gap right here, but you know what I'm saying, they still can push up and hit some of these like the targets they gave us to this 826, 840 something, and we'll work our way up to these other levels. But yeah, so when you're doing your volume profile, you just want to align it. The other indicator that I use on here a lot is these candlestick patterns. Um, if you're new and you hadn't heard of this one, you just type in candles and you click on all candlestick patterns. And inside of that indicator, let me see, that's all patterns. Is it? Let me see. Yeah. So inside of the settings of that indicator, you can choose a lot of different type of candlestick patterns. These are the ones that I keep on for the most part. I don't have spinning tops on. I do like to know when we get tweezer tops. Uh, my favorite candles I like is the piercing, the Marabazu, and I like the bullish and bearish engulfing candles. Now you can set alerts to these certain candlestick patterns too. If you right click on, I think it has like alerts capability. But when you want to set these, really, you can set them on like your intraday charts, but they become really powerful on a higher time frame, especially on your like 3-day and your weeklies and stuff like that. When you start getting like right here, for example, and I'm just going to I hadn't even noticed this on Lily chart. On the 3-day time frame, the bearish engulfing candle is like I've been tracking it on a lot of different stocks. The bearish or bullish engulfing candles are really good reversal candles when they come down to the 200 or they come down to the demand zones. And you see this is different with Eli Lilly too, because I didn't even notice this And so I just know I'm doing this training now. But you know, we popped up here, but now we're reversing at the 200. We got the WTMA helping us out. We got the 12 kind of coming back down and testing the 200 cloud. Let me delete this. We got the 12 coming down testing the 200 cloud, but we also got a bullish engulfing candle supporting the rally. And we had one over here, a bullish engulfing candle before this inverse arc, and we had a decent push up on them. On the weekly chart, my favorite candle to see is a piercing candle, because when you get a piercing candle, you know, it's a really good reversal candle. And like right here, you see Eli Lilly is making a bullish engulfing candle currently. So if it closes this week with a bullish engulfing candle, that's different from what it done over here, because it never had a you know, a bullish candle like that for the reversal. If we look at something like SPY, we can time that SPY reversal. You'll see like a lot of piercing candles on their weekly time frame or bullish engulfing candles. So like right here, they got back to back. They got a piercing candle reversal at the 200, and then they got a bullish engulfing candle, and then they got an inverse arc. And then you see how like you just getting like a lot of confluence with the candlestick patterns, and you're coming down doing a liquidity grab, and then you pushing back up getting the inverse arc. Like getting all those types of signs, just extra confirmation before you get dropped. Like we had a bearish engulfing candle, which is bearish. Then we get a bearish arc. And so it just adds extra confirmations to what you already got. And it's like if you go through some of the big tech stocks, the piercing candle on the weekly chart was like a big telltale reversal candle on a lot of them, especially on like these big drops that we had during that first tariff talk, when he first did like the tariffs and stuff like that. If you look across a lot of these weekly charts, they had piercing candles. So now this just wrapped in, and Black Wolf also knows about these candlestick patterns, but this is wrapped in my brain. It's like etched in there now. So next time we have like a big drop like that, you know, that's going to be one of the alerts that I have set out, you know, saying just in case we get another drop like that. And we get some piercing candle like this one right here didn't create a yes it did. So this is AMD, and you see how it kind of leads to these V-shape recoveries with that piercing candle. So next time we have like a big drop like that, then I'll be looking for that candle for sure as a telltale sign that smart money came in very aggressive. And it's a 2 candlestick pattern one that it tracks. So it's like you need a bearish candle, and then the next preceding candle comes up a little bit past 50%, I believe. But if you put your mouse on it, even if you don't know what it is, you can put your mouse on it, and it tells you exactly what it is. It's a 2 candle bullish reversal found in the downtrend. So it's a candlestick pattern designed to show you the bullish reversal when like you have like these falling knife type of scenarios. So it's a really strong reversal candlestick pattern.
Hey, Sean, how can we get that added to our chart again?
Just go to indicators, type in candles, and then click on the all candlestick patterns. All right, guys, it's 7:15. That's our time. I'm gonna give y'all a break. I know we got another call in like 15 minutes. Try to make sure you all try to join into that call. I'm gonna be on that call as well. I'm not talking on the call, but listening in on the call. So you all, you know, tap in and learn as much as you can while you're getting this this education on the chart system and just, you know, trading in general. But I appreciate everybody tapping in, and I'll see y'all in 15 minutes.
Thank you,
Appreciate you.
Sean.
No problem.
Okay, Sean.